family torn apart, loved ones scattered. My mother remarried. I stood in the park letting the rain pour down all night, just as I was about to leap from the bridge. The coldest girl in school, known as the Iceberg Beauty, holding an umbrella, found me amidst the storm, told me to follow her home. In just one night, I fell from the heights of the clouds straight into the mud. My father was thrown into prison. The luxurious villa was sealed off. My girlfriend betrayed me. When I was kicked out of the house, I had only 200,000 in my pocket. I thought my life was over. The appearance of Willow Smoke was like a ray of light, in an instant dispelling the endless darkness surrounding me. She gave me a place to rest, and a reason to stand up again. I thought I had seized a chance at salvation, but the flies that once swarmed around me before did not vanish with my downfall. On the contrary, they grew more excited, smelling the stench. The noise in the cafeteria was like a cauldron of curses boiling over, screaming, assaulting my eardrums. Isn't this our illustrious young master? What's wrong? Tired of eating delicacies at home? Here in the cafeteria to experience the rustic life, huh? A sharp, piercing voice rang out above my head, carrying undisguised malice. I slowly lifted my head and saw White Frost, the girl who was once my childhood sweetheart. Now she was like a garish, arrogant flower, casually clinging to the arm of the school's hotshot Trent Marsh. She looked down at me, her face full of haughty disdain, as if staring at a pile of sludge in a gutter. I said nothing, lowered my eyes, continuing to read my book. I couldn't be bothered with her. Before the Stone family fell, she was the most loyal, tail trailing behind me, calling Brother Stone sweeter than anyone else. The moment the Stone family collapsed, she ran faster than anyone, swiftly latching onto the new elite. Trent Marsh looked at me as if I were vermin. My silence seemed to ignite her passion for theatrics. She carried a tray full of tomato and egg stir-fry, as if she had tripped, letting out an exaggerated cry of surprise. In the next second, the entire tray of greasy food, along with the scalding red tomato sauce, spilled directly onto the open notebook in front of me. Red and yellow mingled together. The neat handwriting in the notebook was instantly soaked, smudged, blurring the elegant script of Willow Smoke, like a piece of art trampled without mercy. The air around froze instantly, then erupted in suppressed laughter, accompanied by gasps of shock. All eyes like spotlights focused on me, zeroed in on me, carrying the cruel joy of spectators watching a drama. Oh, Brother Stone, I'm so sorry. My hand slipped. White Frost feigned an apology, but her eyes, lined with exquisite eyeliner, gleamed with unconcealed triumph and delight. It's just an old notebook. You're not mad, are you? Trent Marsh wrapped his arm around her waist, speaking in a tone as if granting charity. Stone Frost didn't mean it, so how about this? How much is that notebook worth? It'll compensate you with 100,000. Is that enough? Haha, Brother Marsh is so generous. The lackeys behind him immediately chimed in. I clenched my fists tightly, the force so strong my knuckles cracked. A crisp sound, veins bulging on the back of my hand. A fire of rage blazed from my chest, surging to my head, almost burning my reason to ashes. I stood up abruptly. The chair beneath me scraped against the floor, letting out a screech like mocking laughter, as if it were my silent scream. Just as I was about to swing my fist at Trent Marsh, his smug face, my gaze inadvertently swept through the crowd, drawn like a magnet, landing on a pair of eyes. Willow Smoke standing not far away, holding a simple tray of food, silently watching everything, like a deity descended to earth, out of place amidst the surrounding chaos. Her eyes held no trace of sympathy or mockery, not even a ripple, like an ancient well 1,000 years deep, calmly reflecting all my wretchedness and anger at that moment. The whole school knew Willow Smoke was someone absolutely untouchable, and I, a destitute failure, not only borrowed her notebook, but let the notebook, filled with the efforts of a top scholar, be ruined by leftover food in front of the entire school. Everyone craned their necks, like vultures waiting for a feast, waiting to see how Willow Smoke would react, tear me apart, the one who caused trouble for her. But the moment I looked into her eyes, the fire of rage within me was doused by a bucket of icy water, extinguished in an instant. I couldn't act out here. Acting out would only make things worse. It would only prove I was an impulsive, useless fool, only make White Frost and Trent Marsh even more smug, and drag Willow Smoke into the fray. Amidst the expectant gazes waiting for a bloodbath, I loosened my white-knuckled fists, silently picked up the grease-soaked notebook, reeking of an unpleasant odor, and turned to leave in silence. The mocking laughter behind me surged like a tidal wave, growing even more brazen. Coward, he just walked away, how pathetic. I thought he'd fight. Turns out Hayes just a weakling. He dared to anger Willow Smoke. He's done for this time. Just wait and see. Willow Smoke won't let him off. I didn't bother with their words, just quickened my pace. They didn't know the owner of this notebook was waiting for me to come home for dinner. Where I lived was an old dilapidated building set for demolition, the hallway piled with musty junk, the voice-activated lights long broken, each step treading through sticky darkness. I climbed to the 3rd floor, to the peeling wooden door at the end of the hall, took a deep breath, suppressing my emotions, then gently knocked 3 times. The door opened quickly, without a moment's delay. The one who opened it was Willow Smoke. At that moment, she was completely different from the iceberg beauty at school. She shed the stiff blue and white uniform, wearing slightly oversized pink rabbit-themed pajamas, the long ears on the hood drooping down, swaying with her movements. Her long black hair cascaded naturally over her shoulders. No longer the cold, distant aura from school, only the comfort and gentleness of being at home. A familiar scent of cheap lemon body wash wafted toward me, the same kind I used, the 9999 kind from the supermarket. Buy one, get one free. You're back. Her voice was steady, as if asking casually, but her eyes lingered on my face for a second. Expressionless, she took my worn-out school bag, hung it on the wall, then from the shoe rack at the entrance, picked up a brand new notebook, and held it out to me. Avery copied this notebook. Dinner's on the table. Eat, then I'll explain the lessons. I looked down. The pristine notebook had lines of text identical to the ruined one. Elegant, clear handwriting with a touch of coldness. Even the highlights, marked in different colored pens, were perfectly replicated. In my heart, something struck me hard, warm yet bittersweet. A choking sensation. Sorry, your notebook. She cut me off, her tone flat but unyielding. Then she turned to the kitchen, leaving behind a silhouette with a giant rabbit head on it. On the table were 2 savory dishes and a soup, tomato and egg stir-fry, stir-fried broccoli, and a bowl of seaweed egg soup. The most ordinary home-cooked dishes, but the steaming warmth chased away the cold I carried from school. I sat down quietly, picked up my chopsticks, and took a big bite of rice. 3 months ago, I was still the young master everyone fawned over, coming and going in luxury cars free of worries. In just one night, my father's company went bankrupt. He was jailed for fraud. My mother hurriedly packed and remarried. The villa was sealed, bank accounts frozen. When I was kicked out, I had only $200,000 on me. I sat on a park bench all night, watching the sky turn from black to white, feeling my life was completely over. At my most desperate moment, even considering whether to jump from an overpass, Willow Smoke found me, the cold girl from school who spoke to me less than 10 times, holding a black umbrella, stood before me in the rain, like a scene from a movie. She picked me up and brought me to this rundown place. She said this house was rented for convenience to school. There was an empty room. She could let me stay temporarily, but rent and living expenses would be recorded, to be repaid with interest once I started working. I asked her why. She only said lightly, "Too many people dislike me." She wanted to see me stand up and slap their faces. And so, we began a strange cohabitation. By day at school, we were like parallel lines. She was still the untouchable top scholar, the iceberg beauty. I was the fallen young master in the dust. We didn't speak a word to each other, didn't even glance at one another. At night in this rented room less than 10 square meters, she became my strict tutor, and sometimes a slightly gentle landlady. In her own way, She carefully protected the last shred of my worthless pride. After dinner, I took the initiative to clear the dishes. Willow Smoke didn't stop me, just leaned against the kitchen doorframe, arms crossed, watching me wash the dishes. Why didn't you fight back in the cafeteria today? Her sudden question made my soapy hands pause. I said quietly, I didn't want to cause trouble for you. She seemed to chuckle softly, her voice faint stone. You need to remember to me, you're never trouble. I just don't want you to take revenge in the lowest way. That punch, besides getting you disciplined, would change nothing. She paused, her voice returning to its cold tone, to make their faces swell. You don't need fists. Use your brain. Use your grades, crush them under your feet. Make them unworthy of even envying you. That's real revenge. I turned off the faucet, turned to look at her. Under the light, her fair face was expressionless, but her dark eyes shone strangely. In that moment, I seemed to understand why she picked me up. She wasn't pitying me. She was forging me. From that day on, Willow Smoke's extra lessons were like hell. Every night, she broke down every key point, every difficulty, dissecting, reshaping, in the most concise, effective way, cramming it into my brain. If I lost focus for a moment, her icy pen would unmercifully tap my forehead. If explained this 3 times and you still got it wrong, the auxiliary line goes here. Where are your eyes? Stone your father in there is waiting for you to be outstanding, not for you to daydream here. Her scolding was harsher than the strictest teacher. Not a single vulgar word, but each one sharp as a blade. I gritted my teeth, turning all my frustration, anger, and humiliation into motivation. The day the monthly exam results were announced, the entire senior year was in an uproar. Before the honor board at the school gate, a crowd gathered. My name, Stone Hardy, sat proudly in second place on the red list, only behind the unbeatable name, Willow Smoke, while those who mocked me said I couldn't understand a book. White Frost and Trent Marsh. One ranked 127th, the other outside the top 200. This result felt 100 times better than punching Trent Marsh's face. I stood outside the crowd, looking at the 2 names side by side on the board, Stone Hardy and Willow Smoke, like 2 parallel lines, now intersecting at a point. I knew this wasn't the end, but a beginning, the start of taking back everything I'd lost, and proving I wasn't useless. No way, absolutely impossible. He must have cheated. White Frost's shrill voice rang out. She pushed through the crowd, staring at my name, her face green with rage. A bottom feeder, how could he rank second? He must have stolen Willow Smoke's exam. Otherwise, how could he improve so fast? With that stupid brain of his. Trent Marsh stood beside her, echoing her words. Rumor spread like a virus, quickly infecting the entire school. Have you heard? Stone Hardy stole Willow Smoke's exam to rank second. Poor Willow, so unlucky to be followed by someone like him. Even my homeroom teacher called me in, hinting at whether I used dishonest means. I didn't bother explaining. I knew with people like them, who only believed what they wanted to believe, explaining was the stupidest thing, the most foolish thing in the world. When the rumors were at their peak, the school held a monthly exam award ceremony. It was Willow Smoke's turn, the top of the grade, to speak, but she didn't hold the usual speech. Under the eyes of thousands of teachers and students, she stepped onto the stage, slammed a thick stack of scratch paper onto the projector, then picked up the microphone. Her cold voice through the speakers echoed in every corner of the auditorium, carrying a chill like snow and ice. This is Stone Hardy's entire problem-solving process for this month's exam. All the science questions, every step of reasoning, every derived formula is here, including 3 major questions. His solutions were even more concise and superior than the standard answers. She paused, her icy gaze slowly sweeping every corner of the audience, like a sharp surgical knife, finally landing precisely on the suddenly pale face of White Frost. Among you who can understand this. The auditorium fell dead silent. The dense symbols on the projector and the reasoning process were like gibberish to most people. Willow Smoke said no more, put down the microphone, In the silence of the entire auditorium, she turned and walked off. The rumors collapsed on their own. In that moment, I sat in the audience, looking at her slender but resolute back, like a cedar in the snow. In my heart somewhere was struck hard a resounding echo. The storm of the monthly exam had just passed when the school's annual basketball tournament began. Trent Marsh was the team captain. Thanks to his fanless money, his basketball skills were average, but his swagger was not. Before I was the team's star guard, the illustrious young master. When nothing had happened, Trent Marsh wasn't even fit to carry my shoes. Now he looked at me with the arrogant gaze of a victor. In the final, our class faced off against Trent Marsh's special sports class. The game was intensely close. The score neck and neck. 1 minute before halftime, the score was tied. I stole a crucial rebound, dribbled across the court, preparing to face the defense for a game-changing shot. The moment I leapt, Trent Marsh charged viciously from the side. He didn't aim for the ball, but used his knee, ruthlessly slamming into my supporting leg. A faint crack sounded, followed by searing pain. I screamed, crashing hard to the ground, clutching my leg, curling up. Cold sweat soaked my jersey instantly. The referee called a foul, but the game was over. Trent Marsh just shrugged, his face indifferent, saying, in basketball, physical contact is normal. He's just too weak. His teammates surrounded him, laughing and jeering, completely ignoring my cries of pain. The pain made my vision blur. I could only watch helplessly as they celebrated their victory in cheers. I was helped off the court by classmates. White Frost, like a haughty princess, walked up to me, looking down from above. Her lips curled in a triumphant smile. See, you can't even play ball anymore. You're useless from head to toe. At that moment, a cold voice rang out from the sidelines. Not loud, but clear enough to cut through the noise. Is that so? Everyone turned, only to see Willow Smoke slowly walking over. Behind her were two men in white coats, carrying medical kits, and two others in neat suits, wearing gold-rimmed glasses, looking entirely unapproachable. Their appearance at a high school basketball court was utterly out of place. She walked up to me, ignoring all curious stares, knelt down, gently touching my knee. I winced in pain, sucking in a cold breath, my body trembling uncontrollably. Her brows furrowed slightly, almost imperceptibly. Then she looked up, her gaze cold as a Siberian river, locking onto Trent Marsh's paling face. My family doctor's preliminary check shows a torn ligament, damaged meniscus. Immediate surgery is needed. Then she stood up, her aura erupting. These are my two lawyers. She pointed to the suited men behind her. Trent Marsh, your actions just now constitute intentional injury under Article 234 of the Criminal Code. We have two options now. Her voice wasn't loud, but each word was like a hammer, striking hard into everyone's hearts. Right now, in front of all the teachers and students, publicly apologize to Stone Hardy, admit your intentional injury, and cover all future medical expenses, rehabilitation, nutrition, and mental compensation. The exact amount my lawyers will discuss with your father. The second option. She paused, her voice colder. We meet in court. By the way, a reminder, my legal team has never lost a case. The court fell dead silent, so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Family doctor, an undefeated legal team, the girl known only for her grades and beauty. In everyone's eyes, just an ordinary student. The iceberg beauty for the first time revealed, a glimpse of her unfathomable background. Trent Marsh was completely stunned. His family had some money, but compared to someone who could summon a top-tier legal team, they were not in the same league. His lips trembled, stammering an apology, his face red as a pig's liver. Willow Smoke didn't even glance at him, just told the two doctors, take him to the best private hospital, use the best medicine, hire the top orthopedic specialist. Then she turned to me, drenched in cold sweat. Her usually icy eyes, for the first time, glinted with something I'd call gentleness, something I'd never seen. Don't be afraid, I'm here. I was in the hospital for half a month. Willow Smoke came almost every day, never missing one. She brought bone broth she cooked herself, and lecture notes for each day. Her cooking was very average. The broth lacked flavor. But watching her clumsily open the thermos, spooning out the broth for me, I silently drank it all. The recovery days were dull. One day, while cleaning my bag, I found the long-forgotten notebook, ruined by white frost reduced to torn pages. I meant to throw it straight into the trash, but noticed something tucked inside. The pages stuck together by dried sauce. My heart stirred. I carefully peeled them apart, like defusing a bomb. A yellowed piece of paper, carefully folded, fell out. Opening it, the handwriting, though less refined than now, I instantly recognized. It was Willow Smoke's. The paper wasn't about lessons, but the scattered thoughts of a young girl. October 12th, clear skies. During gym today, he scored 3 three-pointers. The sunlight on his hair was stunning, like golden waves of wheat. November 3, rain, he seems to have someone who likes him. It's White Frost, his childhood sweetheart. They look so well matched. December 25th, snow, saw him smile today. Not the polite smile for everyone, but a genuinely happy smile. Even if it wasn't for me, I still felt so happy. The dates were from freshman year. The stone mentioned was me. My heart felt gripped by an invisible hand, then pounded wildly, the beats ringing in my ears. I held that fragile paper, but my hands felt heavy as if 1,000 pounds, trembling violently. So, this salvation when I was at my lowest wasn't a coincidence, nor the fleeting kindness of a young lady, but a quiet, enduring secret love, humble and discreet. That evening, Willow Smoke as usual brought broth. I looked at her cold, seemingly indifferent face, for the first time wanting to hold her tightly. Willow Smoke, I called her name, my voice slightly hoarse. She set down the thermos, looked up at me. Something fell out of your notebook, I said, handing her the paper. The moment she saw it, her eternally icy face finally cracked like shattered ice. A flush spread quickly from her cheeks to her ears. Even her fair neck turned pink. She snatched the paper, like a cat with its tail stepped on, turned to leave. I quickly grabbed her wrist. Her hand was cold, slightly trembling. So what's in the letter is true. I looked at her back, asking softly. She didn't turn around, her body stiff. After a few seconds, she answered in a voice as soft as a mosquito's hum. I smiled, pulling her into my arms, using my no-tethealed arm to hold her tightly. Her body was slender and stiff, but she didn't struggle. Willow Smoke, you're such a fool, I said by her ear, the person in my arms. After a long pause, whispered back, you're the fool. Not long after leaving the hospital, perhaps due to a weakened immune system during recovery, I came down with a high fever. That day I was delirious with fever, feeling like I was in a furnace, shivering with cold one moment, burning like I was being roasted the next. In my haze, I felt someone wiping my face with a cool towel, my forehead, my palms. The touch gentle but clumsy. A few times water dripped into my eyes. I struggled to open my eyes, and saw Willow Smoke's face, full of worrying, her eyes red, hair slightly messy. Seeing me awake, she seemed to shed a heavy burden, quickly brought a bowl of porridge to my lips. You're awake. Eat the porridge. I just learned to make it. Try it. I took a bite. The taste, well, how to put it? The rice was rice, the water was water, with a faint burnt smell. But, looking at her eyes full of anticipation and nerves, I still forced down every spoonful. This was the worst porridge I'd ever eaten, but also the warmest. Later I learned, the day I was feverish, she canceled all her important student council meetings, dropped all activities, even skipped evening classes, stayed by my side for 24 hours. The girl who commanded the school, cold to the point of ruthlessness, for me, clumsily learned to cook porridge, learned to use alcohol wipes to lower my fever. Worried like a child who didn't know what to do, I looked at her. My heart felt filled with something, a feeling I'd never had, called happiness. After I recovered, our relationship changed, like earth and sky shifting. No longer landlady and tenant, nor benefactor and rescued. We were like any ordinary couple in love, going to school together, eating together. At school she was still the cold iceberg beauty, but her eyes always followed me unconsciously. At home, she shed all pretense, lazily curling up on the sofa, watching TV while ordering me to wash dishes. I did it willingly. In the second semester of senior year, the school held its final big parent-teacher meeting, inviting all parents to visit the school and meet with teachers. For me, this was like a public execution. My father, still in prison, my mother, long remarried, gone without a trace. Where would I find a parent? White Frost and Trent Marsh had long been waiting to see my humiliation. In class, they mocked me indirectly. Stone, who's coming to the parent meeting? Are you going to attend it yourself? Ha, you don't even have parents. One's a convict. The other ran off with another man. On the day of the meeting, the weather was unforgiving. Rain poured like a deluge. The world a gray blur. Students and parents held all kinds of umbrellas, in groups of 3 or 5, chatting and laughing as they entered the auditorium. I stood alone under the school gate's awning, watching the rain, feeling like an orphan abandoned by the world. At that moment, a sleek black luxury car with smooth lines glided silently through the rain, slowly stopping at the school gate. The emblem of a flying goddess gleamed on the hood. Even in my fallen state, my eye for quality remained. A limited edition Rolls-Royce Phantom, no more than 3 in all of Cloudsea City. All eyes were instantly drawn to it. In the silence of the crowd, the driver's door opened. A driver in black formal attire, wearing white gloves, holding a large black umbrella, quickly moved to the back door, respectfully opening it. A foot in exquisite black high heels stepped out first. Then Willow Smoke emerged from the car. Today she wasn't in her uniform, but a perfectly tailored black Chanel dress, her hair pinned up, revealing a graceful swan-like neck. A string of pearls on her neck glowed softly. Brand unknown. Her cold aura paired with this outfit was like Ares stepping out of a movie. The whole school was stunned. White Frost's jaw dropped, her eyes nearly popping out. Then a scene even more shocking unfolded. Willow Smoke took the umbrella from the driver, walked through the crowd, her heels splashing through puddles. She came straight to me. In the disbelieving gazes of everyone, she naturally linked her arm with mine, tilting the umbrella to shield me almost entirely. Her voice as cold as ever. No trace of emotion. What are you doing standing here in the rain? Get in the car, let's go home. In that moment, I clearly heard the sound of everyone's jaws dropping. I was slightly dazed, pulled into the car by her. The car's interior was shockingly spacious, scented with fine leather and a faint fragrance. The door closed, cutting off the rain and noise outside. I looked at Willow Smoke beside me, my mind still short-circuiting. I forgot to mention, she said, wiping rain from my hair with a tissue. This car belongs to my family. My parents had an urgent international meeting today, so they had the driver bring me. So the girl who lived with me in that cramped, rundown rental, wearing 9,999 rabbit pajamas, using 9,999 lemon body wash, my landlady, was actually the heiress of a top-tier elite family. This reveal was quite unexpected. Willow Smoke's true identity came to light, but my life didn't change much. We still lived in the small rented house. She still forced me to study daily, tutoring me. She said she liked the vibe of life here. The only change was, she no longer hid her family background, occasionally taking me to fancy restaurants, ones I used to frequent, but now couldn't even get through the door, under the pretense of improving my meals, nourishing my brain. One weekend, she officially brought me to meet her family. It was the first time I met her legendary parents. It wasn't a villa but an estate. Mr. and Mrs. Willow were very kind, not looking down on me for my background, treating me with warmth and courtesy. At dinner, I overheard Mr. Willow mention the company was facing a tricky issue, an overseas tech chip acquisition, stuck in a deadlock. Technical barriers and contract traps left the board helpless. I couldn't help but ask a few questions, drawing on my time as the Stone family's young master, learning from my father, observing and listening. With my sharp business sense and photographic memory, I pointed out several fatal flaws in their current plan and suggested a bold solution. counterattacking through the supply chain. Mr. Willow initially listened as if humoring a child, but the more he heard, the more serious his expression became. By the end, he was scribbling down my ideas. The meal ended. His gaze toward me had changed from polite courtesy to undisguised admiration and surprise. Stone is a business genius. I smiled awkwardly, a bit embarrassed. Just some tricks I picked up from my father. Purely theoretical. After that, Mr. Willow often invited me to the company to sit in on high-level meetings. Even let me join that acquisition deal as an intern. With my help, the Willow Group not only overcame the other party's traps, but acquired the core technology at a rock-bottom price, seizing the chance to expand overseas. In front of the Willow family, I was no longer the guy mooching off Willow Smoke. I proved to them I was a lion temporarily subdued, with the potential and strength to reclaim my throne. Willow Smoke's gaze toward me also held a spark of pride, something I'd never seen. In the blink of an eye, high school graduation arrived. At a class reunion, a clueless rich guy staged an extravagant confession to Willow Smoke. $9.99 imported blue roses, plus drones spelling Willow Smoke I love you in the sky, drawing every eye. Everyone thought Willow Smoke would, as always, coldly reject him or walk away. But this time she said nothing, just quietly walked to my side. Under everyone's gaze, calmly straightened my slightly messy collar. A simple gesture, stronger than any words. With her action, she declared our relationship to all. The rich guy's face turned as green as the drone's lights. Midway through the reunion, an uninvited guest appeared. It was White Frost. She looked haggard, no longer the arrogant girl of before. Sobbing pitifully, she ran to me. Stone, I was wrong. I know I was wrong. Let's make up. Before I could speak, whispers spread around. Have you heard? Stone Hardy's father's case was reopened. He was wrongfully accused. Evidence was found. Really? So the Stone family is making a comeback. No wonder White Frost is clinging again. She's so pragmatic. So that's it. I looked at her face. Once it moved me, but my heart was calm. Not a ripple. I said nothing, just held Willow Smoke's hand beside me, our fingers tightly interlocked, then looked at White Frost with an unprecedentedly calm tone. Sorry, I fed my youth to a dog once, that's enough. White Frost's face went pale. She staggered back to steps, as if hearing the most terrifying verdict. Collapsing to the ground, Willow Smoke beside me silently squeezed my hand. I turned to look at her. She looked back, her cold eyes glinting with tiny sparks, like twinkling stars. After college graduation, I didn't return to the Stone family to inherit the business. Though my father's case was cleared and the Stone family was restored, I wanted to build my own empire. During college, with startup capital from Mr. Willow and my own instincts, I made my first fortune in the investment market, founding my own AI tech company. On the opening ceremony day, guests crowded like clouds. Media swarmed. At the end of the event, I stepped onto the stage, holding the microphone. Everyone thought I'd talk about grand business plans or thank the guests. But I turned my gaze to the front row, where Willow Smoke in a white dress quietly watched me. The stage lights followed my gaze, shining on her. She was slightly flustered, but still calm and composed. I looked at her, pouring all the sincerity of my life into my words. Today, I want to take this chance to thank someone. 5 years ago, when I had nothing at rock bottom, she pulled me out of the mud. People think she saved me, gave me a ray of light, but only I know I wasn't lucky to meet that light. That light came to this world because of me. Willow Smoke, I knelt on one knee, taking out the ring I'd prepared long ago. Will you marry me? Let me protect the light you brought with my whole life, and let me be your star. The audience erupted in thunderous applause. Willow Smoke stood up, under everyone's gaze, walking firmly toward me. She came to me, took the microphone from my hand, her eyes slightly red, but her voice clear. She said only one sentence: I do. Stone, I agreed years ago. Our wedding was grand. Before the ceremony, a business partner gifted Willow Smoke a set of high-end global perfume, custom-made by a famous French perfumer. A priceless wedding gift. Willow Smoke accepted it politely, but when it was just us, she winked, whispered in my ear, "I still prefer the lemon scent." I smiled warmly. It wasn't just the scent of the 9999 supermarket body wash, but our own unique fragrance. From that rundown rental, through hardships together, leaning on each other, the only warmth in the darkness, a flower blooming in despair. On the wedding day, guests filled the halls. In the crowd, I saw a familiar figure. It was White Frost, wearing a hotel staff uniform, carrying a tray, weaving hurriedly through the crowd. She stood far away watching us shine on stage, her eyes complex, filled with regret, unwillingness, and deep helplessness. But that no longer concerned me. Under the stage lights, Willow Smoke and I smiled at each other, exchanging rings. From here we were each other's light, each other's star. Under the glowing lights, we held hands, stepping into the future, carrying love and faith to write the next chapter of our story.